Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. I want to talk about Steve Kim and a tweet he sent out the other day. I got a hold of it the other day, but I didn't want to come online and be belligerent and I kind of wanted to have a collective thought, but I'm gonna read the quote Steve Kim said about Verdejo getting in an accident. He says, I quote, "The motorcycle accident is the most exciting thing Verdejo has been involved in the past year or so. Sorry, couldn't resist. Hashtag boxing." End quote. I'm gonna let that digest for a second. Now, how insensitive is for him to say something like this? I thought there was a decorum that we must have as reporters when it comes to the sport of boxing and when it comes to just the human spirit. You know, you guys know my history with Steve Kim. I don't like him. I think he's a racist. I've told Doug Fisher this. I think he's a racist. He's one of the few reporters that I would love to get in the ring and spar. Or, he's just so disrespectful. Saying Floyd Mayweather's born. He's not going to watch a Floyd Mayweather fight because he's born. When in fact, he's the most successful boxer of all time, fiscally. He said, and I don't follow him on Twitter. I don't even use my Twitter account, but I have it connected to my YouTube. And, I want to say some things, but I just want you guys to be aware of the energy that you're giving people, and why are you following people like this? He's just a terrible man, and he's probably gonna listen to us. Michael Montero, Doug Fisher might even listen to this, but who gives a fuck at this point? If you hang around him and you allow him to say things like this, you are the problem as well. I subscribe to a YouTube channel. I really don't listen to their videos, but it's just beyond me that he would even say something like this when the guy quite possibly could have lost his life, lost a limb, quite possibly ended his boxing career. His family, I don't know if Verdejo has kids or not, but his family is worried about him. And he took it upon himself to make Verdejo and this accident, this motorcycle accident, his muse for the day. Or was it 120 characters, 140 characters? His muse for 140 characters. Steve Kim is an asshole. And what I believe, he thrives on being an asshole. I don't have any personal experiences with him, but one when I disagreed with him at the at boxing. What's it called? At the fight club that Golden Boy puts on, and we were at press row, and I just adamantly disagreed with him, and he cut the conversation short. For I don't know for what reason, but I wanted to continue the debate or disagreement. But there's one thing I don't allow: is people to minimize people based off of race, color, or creed, or even just ignorant shit like this. He totes himself as probably as an intellectual, as a witty intellectual, but there's cause for pause here. The fighter quite possibly could have lost his life. You're reporting on boxing. You're not in the ring boxing. I understand that we get emotionally involved with these fighters, and I'm guilty of that as well, but I think it gets to a point where he's using his banter to be a bigot to some degree, to be an asshole. And when you're an asshole, we can't continue to light fuel to the fire. Now we have choices. You know what I mean? We have choices in life. Like to choose to follow this guy or not to follow this guy. I think I should choose if I choose not to follow the guy. You know, but to see this tweet, I saw it on Dante. I followed Dante. I saw it on his Instagram, and I was like, a couple of days ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna breathe before I respond to this. And Doug Fisher and Mike Montero, they have no balls. They allow this to continue to go on and on and on and on and on. You know, I have an accountability, just to give you guys an example, I have an accountability team, right? I have 5 guys that I graduated from college with, and we have a deal. Before we do anything in life that's up substantial proportion, we have a conversation, whether it's always, most of the time it's through text, and a lot of times it's through those conference centers that we can use now to have multiple people on the phone at the same time. When you dial in and you punch in a PIN number, and we talk every third Sunday. We talk, and we've been doing this for years. Every third Sunday at 4:30, we talk, because we have people in different time zones, and we talk about our life, and we're very honest with one another. And it seems to me that there's no accountability on Doug Fisher's part, on Michael Montero's part, and especially on Steve Kim's part. And I'll say it again. I've told Doug Fisher, I had a 25-minute conversation with Doug Fisher at a press conference for Vargas and Salido about him being a black man, and him allowing white people to credit him. And when I use the term white, I'm talking about elite, like the elitists, you know what I mean? And because in this society, if a white person substantiates your point, it becomes law to some degree. You don't have to look for a second primary evidence, if you guys understand what I'm saying. So he made a comment about blacks being a demographic, and I thought that was immensely disrespectful, just based off of the premise. I'm not going to get into the racial comment, because that's a whole nother 20-minute video, but just from a fiscal standpoint, we need novice fans in boxing, whether they're ignorant, whether they're tall, whether they're black, whether they're female. We need them in boxing, because boxing is the fifth or sixth best sport in America. You know what I mean? There's they say there's 1 million hardcore boxing fans in America. You know, and we absolutely need them. We actually need those 1 million fans to introduce boxing to their friends and to their boyfriends and girlfriends and everyone else in between. That's why it's up to us to expect greatness from boxers and to ask for greatness for boxers, not to belittle or berate or make comments like this. So, and that's basically it. And I know Steve Kim is going to get to this video at some point, and he's going to shine it off, and he's going to say it. And in his head, he's like, oh, that little young ignorant motherfucker, probably. And he'll say it in quote unquote his type of clever way. But this video is not about me. No matter what he says, this video is not about me. This video is about him being disrespectful to a fighter who's laying in a hospital bed today and quite possibly could have lost his life. So I actually have to listen to him when I watch boxing, because I'm a fan of Nick Arce, and I actually didn't like the way he was commentating that fight against Nick Arce, but that's a whole nother video. You know, So I'm just going to leave it at that. I think he's an asshole for saying this. I think he's there's a decorum as writers and media outlets. There's a certain decorum that we must possess. There's a level of respect that we must have for these fighters, because without these fighters, we don't get paychecks. And without these fighters, it minimizes our quality of life, because truth be told, covering boxing is immensely fun, because we get emotionally attached. We go through highs and lows, but at the end of the day, every fight I sit 5 or 6 rows away from the ring, no more than 10. If I look across from me, the guy across from me is probably Teddy Atlas, Dan Raphael, people of that magnitude. I may be sitting next to a fighter who's sitting in press row, like a Roberto Duran or Larry Holmes, and I'm sitting in the seat that costs thousands of dollars. So I don't take that lightly, and I value the relationships that I have in boxing. It's widely known my relationships, well, quote unquote, on the other side of the fence, PBC, and it is what it is. We develop relationships, but there's no way on God's green earth would I, not even a fighter, not even a human being, would I be disrespectful in this manner when a person quite possibly could have lost his life. So, Barbershop Conversations, feel free to hit the subscribe button. This is, you guys tell me, but I think this is just terrible. And I think it's terrible reporting. I think it's terrible human characteristics to aim and shoot this low. There are other things going on in boxing that he quite possibly could have talked about, but he chose to make a fighter who just gotten a motorcycle accident to be his muse. And if you guys look at the comments, there's a lot of people in agreement with me, and he's just an asshole about it, and he thrives on it. So no matter what he says, I don't care if he responds to this video. Who gives a fuck? I don't care. But this is my channel, and I can say what I want on my channel. And I'm going to see him at the next fight, and the next time I see him, I have no issue walking up to him and telling him that he's an asshole for doing some shit like this. I have no issue with it. So, Barbershop Conversations. I got a video coming on the Ward incident today. I'll be doing that right now. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Be my friend. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.